What's up, best friends? Last week was such a great week for us on this channel. We literally caught over 700 pips on Euro AUD alone across 4 different setups. I'm not even joking. The free top-down analysis was literally shared here on this channel in my last video, linked up here, right? We literally caught over 700 pips on this setup alone on Euro AUD, and on Euro NZD we made well over 600 pips. Here, let me show you. See, I'm not joking. Just 3 setups on Euro NZD, and we caught these moves live on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel and never miss any free top-down analysis that I post on this channel. And so it was such an amazing week for us in the community. If you don't believe me, go ahead and check the Telegram community linked in the description below, and you'll see the full results for yourself without lies. The analysis, the signals, everything was literally shared in the community for free for everybody to see and take advantage of it. So without further ado, let's get straight into this week's top-down analysis such that you are well prepared for this week. So as you already know, I always start my analysis from the higher time frame. I mean, I come down from all the way from the weekly time frame to the lower time frame, the 15-minute, 5-minute time frame, and then I break down the chart step by step with you guys and show you guys what exactly I am looking for on this chart and where I'll be looking to enter and exit any trade, and of course still send the live updates in the Telegram community linked in the description below. So make sure you check that out without hesitation, right? On the weekly time frame, we can see our price is very bullish, right? It's literally moving, it's literally pushing aggressively towards the upper side, right? But then we can notice this sort of rejection at this point over here, which we have to pay attention to and then investigate why exactly that happened. So looking towards the left hand side, right? Looking towards the left hand side, we can see it out. Price has literally been there before and it reacted, right? Price literally reacted around that area the last time it was there. Over here and over here as well, we can see our price has always reacted around that area. So we have to pay attention to that by marking it out as our area of interest on the weekly level, right? So we can literally find this area of interest around here. We can see that area of interest on this particular chart, right? So literally just cleared out 1.679 area, right? But then it rejected, which may be showing signs of a possible price reversal. But then, like I always say, we do not try to predict the market. We just try to interpret whatever the market is doing and then follow along with the market, just flow along with the market. This is pretty much all that I can see on the weekly time frame for now, other than this area as well that I would like to mark out right there. Why did I mark that out? This area, see, acted as resistance over here, acted as resistance, pretty much acted as resistance over here as well. And right here we can see our price is bouncing, price is rejecting around this area. So moving on further to the daily time frame such that we don't waste our times. On the daily time frame, we can see the aggressive bull move. We can see a lot more clearly how aggressive the move towards the upside is. You can see very strong uptrend on the daily time frame and on the weekly time frame. Very strong bullish momentum and trend over here. So let's see if we can find some sort of structure around here. So again, on the weekly time frame, we have a bullish momentum. Weekly daily time frame, we have the same thing, which further means that we should be looking for where we can get in on a buy on this particular asset. However, we do not buy at premiums, we buy at discounts. So it means that we have to look for a low area, a low price area, and on the chart where we can literally go for buys, right? Pretty much on the daily time frame, there's really not much to see here that we have not already marked out on the weekly time frame. So since there's not much to see here on the daily time frame other than this guy, just so that I'm not ignoring anything, I'll mark this guy out. So on the weekly time frame, we notice our price literally rejected over here, right? It rejected over here on the weekly time frame, and on the daily time frame, we can see our price literally like closed with this very strong bearish bar over here. So we can see our price, is literally rejecting this weekly area over here, which may be showing signs of possible, pullback towards this area over here or this area over here, or maybe even here before it continues on its journey to the moon, right? But anyways, like I already say, we do not try to predict the market. We just try to interpret what we see on our chart and take, we take advantage of the momentum and what we see. Now, moving on ahead to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see those rejections a lot more clearly going on. We can see the rejection from the weekly level over here, right? So you can see our price closed this very strong rejection candle over here, and then forced price to move all the way back down to this area before bulls try to step into the market, and then this bullish engulfing bar, which eventually ended up being rejected, as well as bears stepped back into the market and continued to push price lower. Right, so I can find this area of supply and demand over here on the 4-hour time frame, and I'm going to mark that out right now. So this area right here is our main area of interest, and this area over here as it signifies the high and lows of the previous weeks, right? So this area is the highest point which price is currently rejecting, and then this area over here, which would be the most recent weekly low, right? So now, what exactly will I be looking out for on this chart? Let's move further down to the 1-hour time frame. So on the 1-hour time frame, we can see the price action for everything that I discussed a lot more clearly on this side, and then this zone that I marked out over here on the 4-hour time frame is a lot more clearly. It's like a lot more detailed compared to the 4-hour time frame on which I marked it out on, right? So what am I expecting to see on this chart going forward in this week? So the first thing I'll be looking out for on this chart, particularly if I'm to take a buy on this particular asset, would be for price to break above this area, and then I would be looking to take the retest towards this our area of interest over here on the weekly time frame. Then if it then breaks above this area, then we may be looking at an entirely different setup for that, right? But for this particular setup that we have lining up already, I'll be a lot more comfortable taking the buy over here. Why over there? Because this is literally where we can see our bears have been stepping into the market, pushing price down. First they try to push it down over here, but then bulls step back into the market, and then they step back, and all of that. We can see how this place is kind of like the war zone for both bears and bulls over here, right? This is where they are both trying to take charge of the market. So if the bulls can aggressively break above this area over here, then I'll be looking to take the retest towards this area of our towards this area of interest over here. But then if that doesn't happen, right, let's say that we see a stronger retracement towards the downside before the bull move continues, then I'll be looking to take a sell pretty much below this area, right? Why am I waiting over to this area? Because over here is literally where we see our buyers stepped into this market and then pretty much try to take control of the market and try to push it back towards this weekly area over here, right? So if the bears are able to push price to break below this area over here at which the bulls initially took control of the market again, then I'll be looking to take the retest from this area down to this area on the 1-hour time frame. Literally, that's what I'll be looking out for. And if you're to look at this clearly, right, if you look at this kind of, we can see some sort of double top over here, not very valid though, but then it looks like a double top is forming, and then this area would be the neckline area. However, this pretty much happened at the close of the week, right? So anything can literally happen by market open, right? Price can literally jump all the way, price can literally jump all the way up here or this area down here. So we don't try to predict the market, but anyways, if that setup continues to line up, that's what exactly I'm looking out for. We can see this this neckline forming. For my traders who like to take more risk, right? For subscribers on this channel who like to take more risk, you could potentially take the momentum, ride the momentum down here if it aligns with your trading strategy and your plan, right? But for me personally, I'll be a lot more comfortable taking the sells below this area towards this area right here, and then from there we'll see how price reacts. And if price continues to break below this daily area over here, then we can see the sales continue towards this area around 1.6 to 1.618 thereabouts on this particular asset. That's what I see on EURAUD right now. So let's move on to the next asset, which is EURAUD NZD.